So children, last video I had explained about the flame, and there are three parts for a candle flame or any other flame. We can see the outermost zone, which is the uh, maximum heated area, and it is non-luminous zone. The middle one is called the non-luminous zone, which is uh, less heat producing than the non-luminous zone. Students, today we are going to start the next part of the lesson, combustion and flame. Last video I had explained about the uh, parts of a candle flame. There are three parts or three zones. Outermost zone, which is completely combustible part, producing maximum heat, and it is bluish in color. And the middle zone, that will be partially combustible, less heat is producing, and carbon particles are depositing there. So it is yellow ish in color, and the third part is dark zone, and the innermost zone, there is no combustion takes place, as there is no oxygen is present. So that place there will be no heat is producing. So this is about the flame. So today you will study, students. Last video I had explained about the three zones of a flame, which is the outermost zone, which is bluish in color, having maximum oxygen. So it will be burns very brightly, and it is having bluish in color. Being the outermost zone, it receives oxygen in adequate amount, and hence complete combustion takes place, due to which the maximum heat is generated in this zone, and it becomes the hottest zone in the whole flame. Second one is the middle zone, which is yellowish in color, and it is the biggest zone of the candle flame. This zone does not get enough supply of oxygen, and hence it undergoes incomplete or partial combustion, due to which the particles was burned with a yellow flame. The heat energy produced in this zone is less as compared to the outermost zone. And the third one is innermost zone. It is the black portion of the flame surrounding the wick of the candle. Here the carbon particles do not undergo any combustion due to the absence of oxygen. It is the coldest of three zones, as no combustion takes place. So this you had already listened yesterday, previous video, and again I explained just now. Today you will study one activity to study the structure of a candle flame. For that, we have to take the materials like a candle, matchbox, glass tube, pair of tongues, glass light, copper wire, etc. You can see on the screen all these things. First part, what we will do? Light a candle. You can see on the screen the candle is burning. Hold a glass tube with a pair of tongues and introduce it one end of the dark zone of a non-flickering candle flame. We can introduce that one part of the glass tube to the lowermost level, that is a non-flickering candle flame, and observe after some time. What we can see, a flame appear near the end of the glass tube. You can see a flame is entering in the at the end of the glass tube. Now put a burning match near the other end of the glass tube. You can see other end, there will be a lighted matchstick, and observe it. Now, what we can see, a flame appear near the end of the glass tube. So, back side a flame is, you can see a flame near the end of the glass tube. Now, what we can, how it happens, because the molten wax of the candle rises through the wick and vaporizes, which gives a flame near the other end of the glass tube. Other end of the glass tube, nothing is there, only a matchstick is burning, and you can see a flame is coming from that end. The reason is the molten wax from the other end. You can see where the end of the glass tube is inserted. From there, the candle, the molten wax of the candle rises through the wick and vaporizes, which gives a flame near the other end of the glass tube. Now, second part of the experiment. Hold a glass plate or a glass slide into the luminous zone of the flame. 6.10, you can see what it is. Hold a glass plate or a glass slide into the luminous zone of the flame and remove the glass slide and observe it after some time. What we can see, a blackish ring is formed on the glass slide. You can see on the second part, you can see a black ring is formed. Why it happened or how it happened? The unburned carbon particles deposit on the glass slide in the luminous zone of the flame. You had already studied that middle part or middle zone is luminous zone. There partial combustion takes place and some particles of carbon will be not burning because of lack of oxygen. So that carbon particles will be depositing on this glass slide. Now, the third part of the experiment, hold a copper wire just inside the outermost zone of the flame for about 30 seconds. You can see just near the outer zone of the flame, bring one end of a copper wire. For 30 seconds, keep it like that and observe it. What we can see, the copper wire just outside the flame becomes red hot. How it become red hot? Because copper wire becomes red hot because the temperature of the outermost zone of flame is too high. So here outermost zone is maximum heated area producing maximum heat, enough oxygen is available. So because of that reason, copper wire becomes red hot as it is on the outermost zone. There the flame is too high. So from this experiment we can say the conclusion that the molten wax of the candle rises through the wick and vaporizes, which gives a flame near the other end of the glass tube. First case. Second case, the unburned carbon particles deposit on the glass slide in the luminous zone of the flame. So, first part is testing the innermost zone, that is the dark zone. Second part is middle zone where carbon particles are there which will be depositing. And third experiment, copper wire becomes red hot because the temperature of the outermost zone of flame is too high. So, the wire becomes red hot. So, this experiment will be given an idea about the structure of a candle flame. Now students, you can see on the screen the three zones of a candle flame clearly mentioned. Outermost zone, which is complete combustion takes place, bluish in color. Middle zone, partial combustion takes place, yellowish in color, and it is the largest area, and third one is near the wick, dark zone, there no combustion takes place, and there will be no uh, flame is producing. So these are the parts of a candle flame. Now, one question is coming, that how the goldsmith, how they are melting the gold or the silver to prepare the ornaments. What they will do and why they are using the outermost zone for melting the gold or silver ornaments. We can say that goldsmith blow the outermost zone of a flame with a metallic blowpipe for melting the gold and silver, because the reason just now I told, the outermost zone is the maximum heat producing area where enough oxygen is available. So here maximum temperature will get, so the metals like silver or gold can melt and convert into liquid form. With that they can prepare different ornaments. So this is the reason goldsmith blow the outermost zone of a flame with a metallic blowpipe. Now, next part of the lesson is, what is a fuel? What is a fuel? You had already studied. Fuel is a substance which produce large amount of heat and which can burn, or which is combustible substance and producing heat and sometimes light also. That substances are called combustible substance. They are also called fuels. Now, these fuels are three types. There are solid fuels, like we can say coal, cow dung, that is dung cake, then wood. All these are solid fuels. Then liquid fuels are there, kerosene, petrol, diesel. All these are liquid fuels, whereas gaseous fuels are also there. They are natural gas, that is CNG gas, LPG gas, biogas, etc. But all these types of fuels, we cannot call it as ideal fuel. What is meant by ideal fuel? An ideal fuel means it can produce maximum heat and it will not leave any remains, or it will not uh, produce any carbon particles. That type of fuel is not possible. There is probably no fuel that could be considered as ideal fuel. Now, what are the qualities of a good fuel? How can you say a fuel is a good one? There are some characteristics for that. A good fuel is one which is really readily available. It is easily available. Readily we can use it. They are called good fuel. Second point is, it is cheap. It is its cost is comparatively less. Third point, it burns easily in the air. It can burn very easily in the air at a moderate rate. So a fuel that is a good fuel which can burn easily in air at a moderate rate. Next point, it produces large amount of heat. It does not leave behind any undesirable substances. After burning, no undesirable substances are leaving. So such fuels are called good fuel. So what are the characteristics of a good fuel? A good fuel is one which is readily available, it is cheap, it burns easily in air at a moderate rate, It produces large amount of heat. It does not leave behind any undesirable substances. But like that, ideal fuel is not available because one or the other characteristics are not present in an ideal fuel. So there is probably no fuel that could be considered as ideal fuel. Now, we should look for a fuel which fulfills most of the requirements for a particular use. So, how can we select a particular fuel for our daily use? Which fulfills most of the requirements for a particular use. That type of fuel we can say this is good one. Fuels differ in their cost. Some fuels are cheaper than others. For example, kerosene and petrol, which is cheaper. Kerosene is cheaper than petrol. When we will take LPG, CNG, we can say CNG is cheaper than LPG. So, wood and CNG, we can say wood is also cheaper. So, we can select the some of the fuels are cheaper than other one. So, according to the fuel which fulfills most of the requirements for a particular use, we should look for that type of fuel. Now, there is a table given. You can see types of fuels. You can fill that. Solid fuels, example, coal, wood, dung cake or cow dung. Liquid fuels, we can say kerosene, petrol, diesel. Gaseous fuels, we can say natural gas, then LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, and biogas. So these are all examples of three different types of fuel: solid, liquid, and gas. Next part we will study about the fuel deficiency. So today we are going to complete our part. Remaining part we will discuss next video. Till then, you listen and try to understand all the points. Goodbye.